What's up, everybody? It's your girl Q1, and I am back with Next Gen NYC Season 1, Episode 3, Daddy Issues and Poolside Tissues. Y'all, before I start, make sure we like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Make sure y'all liking the videos so I can kind of stay in the algorithm of things, y'all. Ooh, child. Alright, so let's just get into it. So the episode starts with Adriana, y'all. She's talking about, how she feels about living in NYC. Also, she gets poo in her eye. I guess. Anyway, in the next scene, Brooks called Ava and tell her about last night. Tell her everything that happened, about the argument, yada, yada, yada. And then, Charlie is childish. Okay, let's just start there because, yeah. And Ariana tells, I want to say Hudson that she will be in Soho for Georgia's event, and I think Georgia invited them to some type of event. So Ava goes over to Charlie's house and talks to him about his comment he made about Chloe. Charlie tells Ava how him and Hudson got into it and how he told Hudson, yeah, you want to fight, yada, yada, yada. Ava typically wants to handle Charlie with care, but Charlie is the type of asshole you have to match his energy, okay? So, in the next scene, we see Seth and Brooks. They meet up to get some golfing done, all right? And so Brooks shared with us that he got an award some time ago in golf camp because he hit a squirrel. Now, that award was not a part of the certificates that was handed out. That was just a special award for Brooks, I guess. So Seth decides to ask Brooks about his boyfriend. He wants to know whether or not his boyfriend plays golf and are they playing golf together. So Brooks was like, yes, my boyfriend plays golf, and no, we don't play together. So Cade is actually Brooks's boyfriend, who is really, really handsome, y'all. Cade lives between Austin and LA, and Brooks just pretty much wants to have Cade in NYC, but we don't know. Anyway, we also find out that Brooks was with Meredith when he first met Cade. And he felt like, the little sparks or whatever was flying, and it just went from there. I'm not mad at it, all right? So Seth asked Brooks how was his sex life. And I was like, Seth, please, okay? Like, baby, Brooks don't want to tell you about him giving up his vagina to his boyfriend. That ain't your business. That's why he got married, okay? Anyway, so Seth then tells Brooks that he wants to be like a mother figure to Brooks, so Brooks can come to him and to talk to him. And I get it, but y'all just don't have that type of relationship. I don't know. Seth also wants to know Brooks's body count. So I want to say, because this was extremely uncomfortable for Brooks, he then deflects and starts to talk about Chloe in a comment Charlie made about Chloe. I see what you did, Brooks. I see what you did. So, y'all, we get over in Jersey, and Gia is talking to Teresa. Gia did say that she wants to move out of her mom's house eventually, but she doesn't want to move to NYC. And she also talks about the difference between living in NYC and the difference between living in Jersey, So Gia said, she tells Teresa, I'm going to have everybody over. We're going to make our own pizza, and there's going to be a psychic there to talk with them. Basically, Teresa was like, cool, I'm not tripping, but I'm going to be watching y'all on camera, okay? All right. Charlie. Let's talk about Charlie. Because Charlie is a sociopath, a grown, old, dusty-ass sociopath who need a therapist and Jesus. Okay? He has mommy and daddy issues. And that is no fault of his own about his parents. Okay? I can't put that on Charlie's back. However, Charlie is a lot like his dad. Anyway, a big portion of this is Riley and Charlie. So Charlie meets up with his mom and her boyfriend. Apparently, he lived with his mom until he was 10 years old. His mom and dad divorced when he was 3, and he said that his mom was in the English American artsy crowd, and he said that the environment wasn't stable. So his daddy ended up getting custody of him and his siblings because his mom wasn't filling up to the task. So for me, my question is, was she on drugs? Like, what was it exactly? See, he was saying things without saying things. That's all I must say. So then he says that his mom and him would fall out. Well, they fell out one day because he needed his mom to side with him against his dad in some type of argument or whatever. And so when his dad says anything to him, he'll tell his dad that his mom feels the same way. And so his daddy, being the asshole bully, because that's what he is, and he's a prick. Okay? I'm just being nice. All right? So he says that when he tells his dad that his mom agrees with whatever, because they may have had a separate conversation. So what the dad would do, he would actually call Charlie's mom and try to insert his dominance over her. And I'm telling you, like, I could be wrong, but I'm telling y'all, that's what that fuck ass niggas do, okay? And so immediately his mom would then change her mind and said, "Who said that?" Okay? She'll deny everything to the dad, because he said in fear of his mom receiving repercussions from that mean ass daddy, she would leave Charlie to fend for himself. And I'm pretty sure because he had money and the mom may not have had so much money, he was able to get away with a lot of bullshit. That's just how I feel. So in other words, Charlie dad wasn't shit, and he probably was an asshole to that lady. Okay? That's all I'm saying. And that lady, when she was married to him, probably had all his access and his money, and probably was doing other things, and which is probably why they divorced. And she probably continued with said behavior, ski sloping, maybe, because she looks like a former ski sloper. Okay? Again, I could be wrong. Anyway, Charlie tells his mom that she doesn't alienate him and his siblings like his dad did. Charlie then says his mom, she messed up when they were young, but she tries now to show up for them in their lives. And he says, unlike his dad, who continues to be an asshole and open old wounds. So I'm sure probably when he goes to see his mom, his dad tries to throw little stuff in his face. But they actually showed a clip when he talked to him, I guess about, that was the sister, and he was saying something about, Charlie was saying something to his dad about him not being a favorite. They flash back to that little scene, and you can tell then that his dad is dismissive, his dad is detached, emotionally unavailable for his kids, which is how Charlie becomes Charlie, the little bastard. Okay? And I'm gonna tell y'all this, I'm gonna be on his ass. Alright? So y'all, that mama really do, she give me like hippie lady. Okay? So Charlie wants to be further along in his career path. And I just feel like, Charlie, you have money. Your 29-year-old ass have money, access, power to create the life that you really, really want. At this point, I feel like you just talking. Anyway, Charlie, his mom picks up her phone And she shows Charlie some pictures that he drew, and his mama saved them in the phone. Now, ma'am, when you saved them in the phone, did you recommend a therapist for him? Because the picture that his is through Drew, I'm sorry, that his ass Drew was his dad being unalived by a bullet and a knife in his brain. Okay? That was very disturbing. And Charlie sat there and he was like, this is funny as fuck. And I'm like, sir, you need a psychotherapist because you are a sociopath. Like, that's just how I feel. Okay? I think Charlie is an overgrown, dependent, needy ass boy who's in search of motherly and fatherly love and does not have the wherewithal to be emotionally available. Like, he gaslights me. You know what? Alright. Anyway, so Charlie talks about how his dad is like Anwar. If y'all ever watched Succession, there's the dad that's on there, and he also says how not one of his sons wants his approval on anything, not on Anwar, but with Charlie's dad. And he said that his dad is vicious. Sometimes, oh yeah, he said his dad is vicious, but sometimes he don't want to get cut off. He said he doesn't want to say it out loud or something, and he doesn't want to be cut off. So his thoughts of his dad, he doesn't really express them, because him expressing them is a way for him to get cut off. But when y'all see next week, his dad is asking him, what are you going to do now that you're going to be 30? Charlie then avoids what's getting ready to happen, because you like the comfort of your dad, but you don't like how your dad treats you. And I want to say that's what comes with being comfortable and being under that dad. You're gonna get this treatment if I'm giving you my money. Like, if I'm just giving you my money, you think I'm not gonna say nothing to you? I'm sorry. If you want your daddy off your ass, get on your own, stupid ass. Okay, y'all, Charlie pissed me off. All right, sorry, I'm gonna do it right. I'm not gonna be accosting in my video. Okay, anyway. So Dylan goes over to Brooke's house, and Riley comes over as well. Dylan said that Riley is probably one of the most realest people that he has ever met, and I really like Riley. I like all the kids. I just don't like Charlie and the people that follow behind her. And speaking of that, Georgia, nasty ass, says that Charlie don't like Adriana or Hudson, and that he expects Georgia to have this blind loyalty to him. He also, after he sat with Adriana and Hudson, he apologizes to them. And again, he, to me, after this episode, I feel like any I'm sorry's that come out of Charlie's throat is not real. I feel like he's very disingenuous, and I feel like he is who he is, and he's staying in the little bastard little boy that he is. Okay, I do think he does have such a huge issue with all of the housewives' kids, because if y'all notice in these past couple episodes, the only issues he's been having out loud is the ones with the housewives' kids, including Riley. Like, you can say Charlie is your friend, but Charlie is not Riley's friend. Charlie is nobody's friend. He's just trying to make an extra coin, probably because his daddy finna cut him off. And so he have these misconceptions, I think I'm saying that right, or unknown misconceptions of these housewives' kids, and haven't even had a chance to talk to them. They probably have more life values and more life skills than you. So I don't know, he's just a prick. Anyway, and coming up, we'll talk about that. So Later on that night, while everybody was in the club, Brooks, Adriana, and Hudson, they left around 11. Charlie, Dylan, Georgia, and Riley, they stayed around. So Charlie and Dylan invited two vanilla girls there. Okay, the bitches was rude. Okay, the bitches was rude. Even Georgia said that they was rude AF. Okay, sorry. I mean every word. I want y'all to know that. Okay, I'm telling y'all, in this mid video, this video has been brought to you by those white folding chairs from the Alabama Brawl. Okay, let's just move forward. So Riley said Georgia was upset about Charlie inviting those two girls, and Riley did say that Georgia was under the influence. Apparently, Georgia had 7 glasses of champagne or something. So Shy, I think he was on the episode last week, but he left early. And no. Oh yeah. And Charlie leaves. Oh, Charlie left with, I thought it was Dylan, but I guess it was Shy. So Charlie left Georgia at the club with Riley to go fuck on them 2 girls. Okay? And he knew, and I think what pissed Georgia off is Georgia didn't have a phone. She lost her phone, or she dropped it or broke it or something. And so Riley kept contacting Charlie. And so he was like, I wonder what she want. Why she keep calling me? Boy, if you see this woman constantly calling you, the smart thing to do is will be to pick up the phone. You a 29-year-old ass child. Now I'm not telling y'all, Charlie be pissing me off. He be pissing me off. Okay. Okay. So at this point, Georgia is extremely upset, and rightfully so. And I was just over it. So in the next scene, Seth called Charlie the next day to meet up with him. And of course Charlie agrees, but he doesn't want to go meet with Seth because he already know how Seth's gonna come to him about the way he spoke about Chloe, as he should, because Charlie don't have a grown ass man on his neck, as he should. His dad is on his neck, but he doesn't come at the way, and Charlie explains that he doesn't come the way Seth comes. Yeah, that's because your Seth is nothing like your dad. Your dad is a ass. Anyway, Charlie and Seth meet up, and I like Seth, but it was the way he was talking to Charlie. Charlie isn't used to that, and I will say this, Seth was very welcoming to Charlie. He talks about, the comment that he made about Chloe, and at this point, Charlie decides he wants to backpedal and pop. Shout out to Funky Dineva, okay? And then he says, well, maybe I said it. You said it. You said it. Because if it was Brooks talking to you, you would have said it, and you would have stood on that, and you would have stood on your ass holder, okay? That ain't a word, but we gonna make it a word tonight, okay? But since Seth is there, you all sit here and backpedal like, who said that? Shout out to Portia. Okay? So, he tells Seth that he apologized at least 3 or 4 times, but you didn't mean it. This is what everybody talks about. Charlie is not authentic at all. So, we find out that Charlie actually got his undergrad at Emory and his grad at NYU. His graduate degree his master's from NYU. But I'm not sure why he's not working in that field, and maybe he just picked something because his dad told him he probably had to go to school. And that's fine. Anyway, Charlie is unhappy to me. I'm sorry, y'all. He's just I'm unhappy. Okay? So Charlie says Seth and his dad are like night and day, of course. And they talk about how Dylan is a bisexual, and Seth apparently wants to be a pansexual, but don't tell Meredith. Meredith, come get your husband, okay? Because he want to be a pansexual, okay? And and that's fine. Okay, but we don't want to know that. Okay, happy Pride Month. Anyway, so everybody's in a Sprinter van. Georgia gets a Sprinter van. Everybody gets in there and heads over to Gia's for her kickback or whatever. Now, Adriana, you ain't got no washer, no dryer. Girl. Let me not. I'm not gonna go there. And you brought your dog, but Jill was like, okay, cool. I really like Gia in this setting. I don't like what her mom created her to be in the Jersey setting, but I really enjoy Gia in this setting. So, they talked about Charlie. They played a game. Started a game, but it just went left. So they talked about Charlie. Would be a person to dish them at the party. Riley said, "Listen, I would have been fine if you would have just told us that you was leaving." And then he says, "Well, I told Seth," and it was y'all. To me, it was his tone and the manner as if Seth is his running boy. Like, maybe I'm tripping and maybe I'm sensitive because it's Juneteenth. Okay, maybe that's me. I don't know, baby, but that's Charlie just be pissing me off. So Charlie tells Riley she was mad at the two little white girls, and he says that him and Dylan was talking to the girls. He also said that Riley said to the girls, "You think it's cool to be here and not check on me to see if I'm okay or something." It was just, he lied. Okay, so Riley said to Charlie, like, "You're lying." So Riley introduced herself. They rolled the tape back. Riley actually introduced herself to the girls, and she said, "I love when the girls come and speak to me," because of course Charlie, rude ass, didn't even introduce them. So the little bastard didn't say that Riley's attitude, that Riley had an attitude, and he started moving his head like that, like not like this, but he was trying to do that. He was like Riley was doing this. Y'all, that shit pissed me off so bad because it's the welcome to the microaggression of it all. And people do this to us, like, while everybody else get to feel their feels and say what they have to say in an angry tone, in a loud tone, and we can be calm, but we still gonna be the angry black woman. No. And every time I'm gonna always, and I think we all should speak up for ourselves, no matter how we feel the feels and no matter how you receive it. If you come to me with disrespect, I gotta meet you with disrespect. And all the time, you don't even have to do that. It's just a level of, I guess, fear they claim they have. I don't know, but this was pissing me off. So, and then Charlie said, but the girl handled it well. Y'all, the way he labeled Riley as being aggressive towards the white Lily woman. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing because I only know to be a black woman, and for me and people like Riley, we meet people with respect. Even when they disrespect us, we still have to stand down. Like, I'm getting mad. Okay, so Georgia then pipes up and said, those two women never even introduced themselves. So Georgia wasn't lying. Neither was Riley. Charlie said Riley didn't introduce herself. Sir, the camera rolled back. Riley actually talking to the ladies because you didn't introduce them to those ladies. So, and then he goes on to say that she didn't say nice to meet you, and Riley, what he said, and then he goes on to say that Riley didn't say nice to meet you, and said that Riley was accosting them. And if you don't know what accosting means, that basically means being aggressive. And then the bastard had the nerve to say it with a smile on his face. That's what pissed me off even more. So at this point, Riley starts to cry, and she said to them she hate when she have to do this, and she tried not to make it a thing, and she tried not to make it a thing to make it seem like she's scaring y'all random white people. And she also says it's annoying. Charlie hoe ass starts to smile, which pisses me off. She said it sucks because it's a real thing she have to go through every day. She also says that she's nice to everyone, but tends to get the aggressive trope. Like, that would piss me off. So, and the thing is, I know they do these microaggressions because they strategically do it to us. Until you around another subset of people, you don't do it there. Yeah, I'm lying. I'm lying because you do it to other people. Y'all handle y'all people with care, but y'all don't feel as though we need to be handled with care, or we're strong enough to be able to take your microaggressions. No. Anyway, Charlie tells the two white girls, I'm sorry, Riley tells Charlie those white girls was rude as she didn't say that. She said it was rude and disrespectful. So then Charlie then gaslights Riley and says he don't know if them being white is relevant. Charlie, yes it is. Y'all, he then asks then she asked when has she ever rolled her neck? Like, you never seen me do that. Like, ever. And he said you're trying to turn this into a racial thing. Again, with the gaslighting. Anyway, Charlie tells her that this conversation is a little extra. See? You see? That. It's not extra to you. She said, but it's extra for me. And when I tell y'all, I felt every word Riley was saying. And then she tells Georgia, she said the same thing. Like, she said it's not extra for you, but it's extra for me. And then she tells Georgia, she said, you did the same thing, but I was able to let it go. That's what Riley said. Riley says she don't like when they're trying to spin the narrative like she's the scary black girl, because I'm not. Charlie says that that's far from what he said, but Riley tells him it's your mannerisms. And she tells him that all the time. Like, if I'm telling you this all the time, I need you to hear me. And it's almost like you're saying, Riley. And I don't like that. So I have come to the conclusion that Charlie is a whole hoe out here, and he being passive aggressive. Okay, he was definitely being passive aggressive in that moment. Okay. Anyway, they arrive at Gia's house, and he gets out the van talking about don't tell Gia because I don't want to have to argue with her. So Riley went and told Gia what happened. So Riley walks off, and she calls Candy. First of all, I want to say shout out to Candy and Mama Joyce. Alright? Because y'all did an amazing job with Riley. Like, I was here for it. Okay? So Riley tells Candy what happened. Candy says that I'm glad you let him know. She also says she don't think it's cool, and he wouldn't never done it if it was one of those white girls. Candy says it's frustrating to hear that because as a black woman, it's the weird minority, but it's okay. You have to learn how to make. She said you have learned how to make friends from all walks of life. She also tells Riley that she's proud of her and that she's not afraid to speak up for herself, which you should not be. And Charlie Hoaz, I'm sorry, that's not Candy, that's me. Charlie Ho, that's me, Charlie Hoaz. Okay, so Candy said he's gonna have to learn how to deal with black women, and if he haven't, this gonna be his first lesson. Then let it be. All right. Period. Anyway, I want to say that Candy in that moment really affirmed Riley, and I was really proud of that. Like, I was really proud of that. Okay, because I want y'all to know this was a scheme that Charlie set up to come to us with the bullshit. Okay. Whew, he pissed me off. Anyway, so Brooks go over to the psychic and asks, do you have anything, for my friends? Brooks, please. Okay, let that lady talk to them. So the psychic says she can feel Charlie's energy. That's that negative ass, nasty energy. Okay? And she says, I can feel his energy the most, and that she will definitely need to speak with him. So Dylan tells Charlie to apologize to Riley. He goes over to Riley and give this half-ass, it wasn't even an apology. It was just like, oh, we cool. Oh, okay, you laughing, so we cool. Boy, fuck you. Okay? I'm sorry, y'all. And she says, she tells him, if I'm saying something to you, I need you to understand it, and I need you to listen. Hear me, listen, understand it. Okay? Anyway, even if it's uncomfortable. And I think this is another way of saying Charlie doesn't do well with uncomfortable conversations. He doesn't. You can tell. Even when he have to have this conversation with his dad, because he hasn't been able to have a safe space. Now I will say that in not the defense of how he treated Riley, I'm saying he's just not comfortable with he's never had a safe space. And that's unfortunate. So Cooper, Georgia, and Charlie, they sit down and talk. Georgia asks Charlie if he apologized to Riley, and he says, I'm not really sorry, but everybody needs to be happy I said it. See, this is why nobody see it for you. This right here, this behavior of you feeling like you're so much better than people that you don't have to apologize. Baby, when I tell you, you're gonna be humbled one day, and you gonna learn. You're gonna learn the whole lesson. Anyway, so they tell Ava, Charlie didn't mean his apology. I get it. And Ava tells Riley. And Ava says to Riley that since I am close to Charlie, would do you want me to talk to him so he can kind of better understand? I can help him better understand. And Ava, hell no. Because you're not gonna, in my Medea voice, you're not gonna talk to him like a black woman. You're gonna talk to him like a white woman. Ava, get out of our face, okay? So Riley was like, no, I'ma handle this because Charlie views you and me different as black women. She said it's because I'm bigger and from the South, and the fact that me and you, Ava, we're just two different people. Like, so Riley tells Ava, I want you to tell Charlie that the finger motion, when he does things like this, when you see him do these microaggressions, that you need to call him out on that, and that the shit is rude, and coming from another black woman. That shit is rude. And even when they were on the bus and Ava was trying to explain everything to Charlie, it's like you're still handling him with care. And you see her over here hurting and crying. Ava got on my nerves too. But I get it. Like, no, let me say this. I don't get it. You should have been in that conversation too. So anyway, Riley talks to Charlie. No, Ava goes over to talk to Charlie. They get into it. Charlie tried to play in Riley's face by gaslighting her once again after she confronts him. Then he tried to place all of this on her doorstep about trying to make it seem like it was her fault that he got into it with Ava. No, all of this is on you because you don't know how to treat people. Maybe if your daddy and your mama had showed you some manners and treated you any better, you would probably be a better person. Okay? So the psychic stops Charlie, tries to tried to get a read or whatever on him. He declines everything. And so now he says the psychic is being aggressive. And this is where the episode ends. When I tell y'all, Charlie pissed me off. Okay? This was good. He pissed me off. And I hope y'all learned a lesson. Happy Juneteenth. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.